Hey, how's everybody doing? Welcome to the worst reviews ever. Got your my boy Casey Fred in here, amazing and sophisticated jerk. So today we're gonna watch, we're gonna review the movie Dungeons and Dragons: Honor Among Thieves. So the past couple weeks been some duds out there. So I was like, let me get an action movie. So I had to hook you up, Fred, on this one. But let me go ahead and jump into the summary and stuff. I will see what you gonna rate this one. So I'm kind of excited to see your review because you have back to back weeks of like threes and fives and stuff. So yeah, we gonna see what you gonna rate this one this week.
All right.
But all right, Dungeons and Dragon: Honor Among Thieves is a 2023 fantasy heist comedy film directed by Jonathan Goldstein and John Francis DeLay, who co-wrote the screenplay with Michael Gillio from a story by Chris McKay and Gillio. All right, the plot of this is a charming thief and a band of unlikely adventurers embark on a epic quest to retrieve a lost relic. But things go dangerously airy when they run afoul of the wrong people. So, all right, directed by again Jonathan Goldstein and John Daly, produced by Jeremy Lacham, Ryan Goldner, and Nick Meyer. So, all right, the cast on this movie: Chris Pine as Edgren Darvis, Michelle Rodriguez as Holga, Justin Smith as Simon Amor, Sophia Lillis as Doric, Hugh Grant as Forge, Fitzwilliam, Reze Page as Zinc, Yendar, Chloe Coleman as Kira Darvis, Daisy Head as Sophina, and Jason Wong as Dralas. So, all right, we'll go ahead and let me pull up the trailer real quick and we'll watch that. So, give me 1 second. Let me pull that up. And then we'll do the rating. Fred, you going first. Get ready.
Here's the thing. We're a team of thieves. And when you do this, you're bound to make enemies. Sometimes those enemies come looking for revenge. Truth be told, we helped the wrong person steal the wrong thing. We didn't mean to unleash the greatest evil the world has ever known. But we're gonna fix it.
So how do we pull that off? Figure it out over a drink?
Probably best.
You need to
To give us a fighting chance, we're gonna need strength. You got this, right?
I know you don't.
We also need courage,
back to school.
magic, and you. What is that again? It's now back.
Let's go.
Be warned. There is evil here.
I'm glad he's on our side.
Want a whole lot of love. Want a whole lot of love.
This one's dangerous. But whatever happens, we'll be ready.
What is it exactly that you bring to this?
I'm a planner. I make plans.
You've already made the plan, so
If the existing plan fails, I make a new plan.
you make plans that fail.
No,
He also plays the lute.
not relevant.
Want a whole lot of love.
All right. So, Fred, it's on you. What's your rating for the movie?
So I gave it like a 6. And the reason why I gave it a 6 was like, as much as I love action and it had some comedy and stuff and everything to it, I was just like, there was some parts that was like slow. And then at the end of the day, I don't know. It wasn't the. I don't know how to say it, but at the end of the day, it was just like it didn't really hit me like where I would say it was just great. I
Okay.
enjoyed the actors. In fact, some of the actors like Chris Pine was in there. You know, he's from Star Trek. Of course, you have Michelle Rodriguez. She played Holga. She was from the Fast and Furious. You had Hugh
Hold on,
Grant.
I'm gonna come to you to do your breakdown. Let me just get everybody's rating, and then I'm
All
gonna toss
right,
it to you
not
for the question.
bad.
Nah, you good? All right, amazing. What's your rating for the movie?
Well, first of all, I'm so disappointed in Fred's rating. Jeez, Fred, I thought me and you was going to be on the same page. So it's funny because I actually had to watch this twice. The first time I watched it, I was working like nonstop the whole time. I was completely distracted. And at that time, I was like, this movie's terrible. Like every time I looked up, I was like, this is a complete dud. But then I was like, okay, I did give it a fair chance because I knew I was distracted and working on my computer the whole time. So I just finished it. And I felt like I really liked it. So I'm going to give it a 7.1 just to hop it over the edge to very good.
Okay. Yeah, I gave this one a 7.2. Yeah, I thought it was very good. I thought it was a good mixture of action, humor, and then I like the scenery also. So I thought it was like a 7.2. So we're gonna toss it over to Casey Fred, the outlier this week. Your rating's still a lot higher than the past couple of weeks, so that's a good thing.
Oh man! So the reason why I gave it even a 6, I thought it was a horrible movie at first, and at the end of the day, it was just like the only thing that really grabbed my attention was the special effects, and the special effects was actually really good. Where they had the maze that they had to do, they had the different animals and characters, the different things that they change into, the different. The magic that they use with the special effects, especially the portal and stuff, I thought that was really cool. The action part, as far as the swords and stuff of the different people that they had to use in the fighting scenes, had special effects in it as well. The fat dragon, like I said, the funny part was the fat dragon trying to catch up with them when they was down there in this layer or whatever. I thought that was hilarious because most dragons look like dragons and they're in shape, but not this one. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, haven't been working out this dragon or whatever. So I just thought that was funny. The plot and storyline. Okay, so basically, Chris Pine, who plays Egwin. I think that's how you pronounce his name. I'm not for sure. I'm kind of messing up like you jerk, but but the bottom line of it is he had love, he had a family, and then he learned of loss, and he lost his wife. And the thing about it is that in the process of him losing his wife, trying to go on one last mission, one last, thieves, because that's what he was, a thief. In that, he ended up losing his own kid because him and Hoga end up getting thrown in the slammer or the dungeon, basically, since this is Dungeons and Dragons. And then when he finally gets out and he breaks out, it ain't like it was good behavior, even though that's what they said. But they break out and they come to find out that she's not even there. And the guy that they trusted, come to find out, his name was Forge. And he's the one that all of a sudden not only has been protecting her, but he's been having his own scheme and living his best life. And it just takes you on a little journey that way. So as far as the plot was concerned, I was cool with that because at the end of the day, it was about him trying to create a new family, which is basically he needed people in order to be able to get his daughter back, because that's how the journey actually begins, is him trying to get his daughter back. And they find out that there's this certain thing that can bring back or resurrect a person that you love. And so his whole thing was he was going to not only get his daughter back, but try to bring back his wife back to life. And so, because she had been killed. And so at the end of it, the 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 interesting thing was he ended up getting the very thing to be able to bring his wife back, but because of Hoga, who had been there and was there for him like the whole way through, ever since, especially since his loss, um, she ends up getting hurt and ends up actually dying. And so, you know, they end up bringing her back instead. And at the end of the movie, you know, the people that he had went on this journey with, plus Hoga and his daughter, who he did rescue, they were able to all of a sudden become a family. And that's how it kind of pretty much ends for the most part. Um, the scenes and performances that stuck out, I'm trying to remember the black brother's name on there. I just thought he was very interesting. He was like the Fabio, most intelligent person of his time. He stood out like a sore thumb. And at the end of the day, he was his own hero. Nobody needed to tell him anything. He knew what to do, how to do it, when to do it. And he didn't need no help. I mean, that was very evident when it came to the fighting scenes, because nobody was trying to help him. He was like, I got this. And then, sure enough, that's what he was doing. And so he was able to be able to help them get, I don't want to say from A to B, but really on their journey and in the right direction. Let's put it like that. And so that was one scene that definitely stood out. Of course, like I was saying before, another laughable scenes were all the ones that deal with his crew, because he had one girl who turned into an animal, but even though she looked like one of those Keebler elves that you normally see on crackers or whatever, you know, coming out of a tree or something like that. Trying to remember her name, but that was another thing. I couldn't remember all the names that was in there. And then, of course, I do remember the kid. His name was Simon or whatever, and and his magic. He had to learn how to come into himself and stuff like that, and he had to learn quick because the journey was fast. And so he had to believe in himself, and that was another thing that I thought was very powerful. Is that Chris Pine, who played Egwin, he had to believe in his group that they could pull it off, even when sometimes they didn't believe in themselves. And so, and there's a part where all of a sudden he's sitting on the rock, and all of a sudden he's telling them, well, you know, everybody's throwing all these faults and this and blaming and pointing the finger at each other and stuff because some things weren't going right. And he was like, listen, I'm the biggest failure of all of it. You know, I've lost so many different things, but yet at the same time, I'm still going to go for it because failing is quitting and I can't quit. And so I'm just going to keep going until I do succeed. And so they stuck with him, and that's how that journey went. And so there was just a lot of cool moments. And so that helped me, plus the special effects, get it probably to a 6, but getting it beyond that, I'm sorry to disappoint you, Amazing, but I just, it just wasn't there for me. You've been giving everything 7s for the last 3, 4, and I just, for some reason, it's a slow turn. The last 2 movies was just like, I'm still trying to get over it. You know what I mean? It's just nachos haven't been good. You know what I mean? Maybe I need to add some jalapenos on them or something. I think the would I change anything as far as director or producer? I would have like they're thieves and they're trying to get back to a family. I would have liked a better ending where all of a sudden they were able to, he gave back all the money back to the people because that's the very thing that he promised and stuff. And he had his hand on the book, which felt like I can't remember what that book was that made him all of a sudden promise to do this, but he did. All of a sudden they get back and it just felt like they got their family, but they're still broke. So it would have been nice if they could all of a sudden had some money because, that they could like restart or get on a journey or what's the next step after that or something like that. That would have been kind of cool, but they kind of like left it where it was. And that's probably the one thing I definitely would change. Would I recommend this movie to anyone? I would probably say, yes and no. I would say, hey, go out and be to see if it's on Netflix. I would never tell anybody to go pay money for this movie. But if it's on Netflix, hey, go check it out. Would I see this movie again? Which we never say that. I would probably tell you no. I probably wouldn't look at this movie again. I'm probably one and done on this one. But other than that, the movie was, as they say, okay. But it wasn't I think of, and it was kind of crazy because they had some great actresses and actors and movie stars in here. But when I compared them with the work that they've done compared to this movie, I just feel like none of them was really up to par. Like they all had better performances in other movies compared to this one right here. This one just kind of felt a little flat. I honestly, if there was something I would change, I would probably actually put people that you didn't know in this movie compared to the actors and actresses that they had in here. And so I don't know. When you have a good thing rolling, you don't just throw out a dud. And so that's kind of like how I felt about this one.
All right, let me get amazing in there.
What did I think about this plot or storyline? So I was never like, I think I played Dungeons and Dragons like a handful of times. That game I feel like is so super old. So
Nerd.
I actually did not. What did you say?
I said nerd.
So anyway, I thought never mind. I'll let that go. So I was thinking, okay, is there like some sort of connection here? I didn't even honestly realize like the whole Dungeon and Dragon theme of it until Zink's character was having like the battle with all like the five guys at once and the swords started lighting up. That's what was like, oh yeah, this is a Dungeons and Dragons movie. Otherwise, I didn't see it really until that part. But again, I didn't watch it a whole lot. But anyhow, I liked the plot and the storyline. I liked the overall plot because it was kind of like the good guy, bad guy stuff. But the storyline, I liked the way it played out and how with some of the flashbacks, different things were connected. So you had Edgin's character who would keep having flashbacks on to show kind of where he got to where he was like this honorable person who made like a life dedication promise. And then because he was trying to build a better life for his family, he kind of left. And that's when, he ends up, it shows later how his wife ends up getting killed, which he then admits to is because he stole from the bad guys who then hunted him down to his house. But instead of finding him, they find his wife. So I thought the storyline was really good. Like to me, it was showing what was happening, but it had just enough flashbacks to give you why it was happening. Let's see, scenes that I liked. So I really like Zink's character. If you do not know, he's also in Bridgerton, and I love Bridgerton. So I knew right away when I seen him, I was like, there he is. I like his character a lot. Holga's character also I like a lot. I was literally thinking, I didn't even realize she was Fast and Furious. Like I kept watching her, like, how do I know her from where? Until you said Fast and Furious. And I do think like she plays such a good, like, buff, tough girl. Like I just think those are such good roles for her. And she did it fantastically in this film also. One scene with her that it made me literally chuckle so much is when because she's like so super tough and like beating up everybody, and then when she wants to go to see her husband who divorced her while she's in jail, and she shows up and here's like this little baby man. It just made me chuckle. I thought it was so funny. And then so he's like trying to boost himself up on the chair to talk to her, but then really they still just want what's best for each other. When his new, also buff and gruff looking wife comes in. And so I just thought I thought those scenes were so funny. The other scenes, let's see. I did like I already mentioned I like the flashback scenes. I agree. I thought the special effects of the movie were super good, from just like backgrounds to the different characters. I really liked Doric's character and all the different things that she would just change into, like one after the next. As soon as she was about to get caught in one form, she would change to the next form. So she was a bird, then she was a mouse, like whatever was helping her at the time. So I really liked that. And then I did like the way in the very not the opening scene, but close to the beginning, when it was Edgin and Holga, kind of like before the parole board, and Holga's just like, whatever, I know, her character's just sitting there like, you can go ahead and plead to them, and Edgin's character is pleading and trying to give the story on why they should be released, and he does all this elaborate stuff. Then they wait to get the bird, they're falling out the window so they can try to escape from jail, when really they were going to grant their release anyway. So I thought that was funny. But what I did like about that scene is at the end of the movie, when then you have Forge pleading his case in front of the same review board or the parole board. So I thought I just like the way they kind of did that at the beginning, and then at the end, it's same situation, but now like the actual bad guy is there. So I liked that. I don't think that would change anything. Like I said, I liked it. I did. I'm trying to think. Yeah, I don't think I would change anything. I like maybe, but honestly, I don't even know if it would make a difference to me. They could have referenced. Maybe they did. Honestly, I don't know, because I didn't really play the Dungeons and Dragons, but maybe more reference, just like for some sort of connection there. I don't know, but I would recommend the movie again. I thought it was good.
All right. So my rating was a 7.2. Very good territory. And the reason I gave it that rating, and it's going to kind of tie into the plot and the storyline. Well, I actually think the plot and the storyline the game was it was a dumb game back in the day. So the fact that they were able to put a pretty good story around, like the actual game, I think they did a good job on that. The directors and the producers for that, to kind of, have some of the game elements built into it, but the character selection, the actors and actresses, how they made them witty. They didn't over rely on the magic and stuff, because they were actually kind of, I'll say, as a group, they weren't the best. So I like how they kind of had to develop a little bit. But, it was a lot of wittiness and, planning and stuff, instead of them just being, sorcerers and mastering magic and stuff like that. So, yeah, I just think the biggest thing for me was the fact that they were able to put a pretty good storyline and plot. Like, I like what Amazing said. They started off, not going into deep the video game, but more or less the path why they kind of got there. And, with the dungeon scene in the beginning, and then how they were going to kind of put the group together to kind of save his family and stuff. So I think they did a good job focusing on the group, not as much as going back to the past as far as trying to build off the game. So I think a lot of movies where they are tied to a game, there might not be too much of a plot, So, like I said, I think they did a good job just focusing on the actual characters and letting them, put that wittiness to it. Some of the scenes and performances that stuck out, I would definitely say the first scene because I like how it kind of set off the whole tone of it, how they got caught up, and my boy is just a bad planner, and how they kind of kept on elaborating off of that. They were like, "All right, man, so you just put together like bad plans," and he was like, well, this is plan B." So I just like how they didn't give him no powers. That was just his thing, just like improvising all the time. So I definitely like that element. I think the one that scene that ain't amazing was saying when that guy, the halfling Bradley Cooper, and he Hogan came, and then his girlfriend came in there. They're all big and stuff. Yeah, I thought that was funny because then they was all kind of jealous and stuff. So yeah, my man had some game in that scene. But like you said, he was all small and tiny. Like, man, them girls, how they not break this little dude like that? And definitely, I like the fighter scene in the cave. The one guy you was talking about from the show you watched. Yeah, he definitely had some skills. But it was funny the part where he was like, "All right, man, this is where I stop." I was like, man, he ain't got, because I was thinking he's gonna show back up at the like castle or something to help them out. But my man was like, nah, I'm gone. Peace. Like he kind of just left them hanging and stuff. So I thought that was funny how, he didn't go with like bail them out, like pretty much take on a majority of the people. He's like, nah, my work is done. You got the helmet. Peace. So that's what I'm saying. I think they just did a lot of funny stuff, like you said to Frederick, the fat dragon. So I just like how, man, it was just kind of out of place and a little bit scattered where they didn't make everything like, oh, you got this big crazy dragon, the good greatest fighter. He comes with him and kind of like saves the day. He was like, nah, yeah, I got this. My man didn't get to connect with the helmet until the like very end. So I like how they just showed him kind of like messing up, like kind of winging it when they went through the movie. So I thought it was just relatable, like how they did that. Then they had the family element also where, it just showed like why he was willing to kind of, start becoming a thief and was stealing and stuff. So overall, I definitely like the movie. What would I change to this movie? I wouldn't change much because I like how they, like I said, took it away from the actual video game. Because like I said, it wasn't the best video game. The video game is actually kind of boring. So I think they did a good job, like separating it a little bit from the, the actual video game series and stuff. I do think I would have liked to see more of the like background with the Red Wizards. I know they showed that a little bit, but I think definitely if they do a sequel or any follow-ons to this, like they do a little bit more with those Red Wizards because I do think the background to them. They should have probably had a precursor movie on that and then jumped into this one because I think that would be very interesting to see how they became to be known as the Red Wizards and stuff. And would I recommend this movie to anyone? Yeah, I think it was definitely a good movie. Like Fred said, I don't know about the movie theater, but definitely, watch it on Netflix. I think it was good. A lot of humor, a lot of wittiness, and like definitely action. And like I said, I always like the scenery that they chose because the scenery definitely matched like that medieval fairy tale vibe. So I think they did a good job wherever they filmed the movie at also. So all right, we'll go ahead, we'll jump into the last one. Anybody gonna change their rating, go up and down? And Casey, Fred, we're gonna start with you.
Nah, I'm still gonna leave it as a 6. I was thinking about all the scenes that you guys said, and I had thought about something, and I said, if I had one funny part, what would it be? And then it finally dawned on me exactly the part that I laughed. I laughed at the beginning, and I laughed at the very end. And the reason why is because when Edwin and Hoga is there to be able to plead their case, they were waiting for that tall black bird to show up so that way they could plan their escape, and they grab him and go out the window.
Oh, yeah.
And use him. I thought he was dead too. I'm not gonna lie. I thought that bird was dead, and they landed on top of him, and that's how they were able to get away, all safe and sound. And he was like, and they kept saying, "Why are you waiting on him? Hurry up with your little story, whatever." And he had this whole song and dance and just told this whole story, just waiting for that bird to show up because they knew that bird could fly. And so they forced him, threw him out the window. So then when it was Forge's turn, he got caught at the end of the movie and it's his turn. And they said, nope, I'm sorry, but you're going to have to stay here. You know, there's no getting off early or getting off out of here for you. And then what does he do? He tries to grab the bird again. And this time they had the window closed and it was nothing but a wall. And I was just dying laughing. I said, oh, yeah, they was waiting for you. See, they was like, yeah, you got us once, fool us once, but you can't fool us twice. So I thought that had tickled me to death. I don't know why, but that was funny to me. But other than that, I couldn't. I mean, the special effects helped the movie, but other than that, the movie is dungeons. It wasn't a lot of dungeons. If the movie is supposed to be dragons, there was only one dragon, a fat dragon. That was it. It was nothing else. And Honor Among Thieves, I don't see where the honor was at. But anyway, the point of it was either you was a thief or you wasn't a thief. But at the end of the day, everybody was stealing from one another or whatever, and they basically was stealing back from what was stolen by Forge in the first place. And so, and then that was the gold and stuff and everything and riches and stuff that they gave back to the people. And so at the end of the day, I was just going like, yeah, leave it right where it was at a 6. So
Okay.
yeah.
All right, amazing. You're going
I'm
up
gonna
there.
say 7.1 because again, I still thought it was very good overall. I mean, I don't think it was great, but I definitely I probably honestly might even watch it again. I thought it was very good.
You
So
had
I'm
a 7 and you went to 7.1.
I
was a
was
7.
7.1 because I wanted it right over the edge.
That let me further know that it was all right.
Brad, that's you. I've been 7.1. Jerk was 7.2.
Yeah, I'm gonna
you
stay
want to be
this.
close to him. Okay, I get it.
Yeah, I'm gonna stay at a 7.2. Like I said, very, very good movie. I like how they spun it and put the humor and all that stuff to it. There was one more scene with Forge that I thought his character was pretty funny, but when they caught Chris Pine's character in there and he was like, hey man, I don't want to see you die, so let me go ahead and walk out the room. He's like, all right, well, I'll leave now. So I mean, he was just funny, man. I thought they had a lot of funny stuff for that time because I thought they would do more of a medieval type stuff, but I think they put a lot of timely humor when it wasn't like overdone. So yeah, I liked it. But all right, y'all, keep tuning in. We keep breaking these down. But all right, y'all, we out of here. Peace.
Peace.